I'm back and I'm close to the end of this model build. I'm going to show you guys a couple of modifications I've done that you can do, or you might not need to do it. And then I'm going to show you what I've done with the wings, and I'll make a couple of suggestions. And then I'll come back in the following video and then I'll show you guys how to put it together. Okay, which I have actually shown during the videos, but I'll show you from the start, but not every single part, because I mean some of them are pretty straightforward. So I'm going to go from front to back, and what I did was I added some support on the bottom of this nub on the upper front nose section, because my screw wasn't gripping enough. So now it screws in quite tightly. Just make sure that you push this in very deep or very flush to the body when you insert it, when you drill the hole the first time, so you don't have a gap. I unfortunately have a small gap, and to redo it I have to redo this part, and I don't have time to do that. Okay, so like I said, the screws in now and it's very tight. Okay, second thing is I'll show modifications on the paint job as well. Okay, so this part, what you can do, because to insert the wings you only need this bottom rear section loose. So this basically gets screwed onto those 2 points, and then the rear two go into the back once it's in. Okay, so that's to insert the wings. Okay, so you can, if you want to, is glue these two together once your chassis is in. Okay, you ensure that the screws go through properly. Okay, you can glue these two together because for the lighting, because the planning for the lighting is that the battery box is going to fit into this section. That they need some modifications. So if you're going to glue it together, I'm not sure if this is a standard American or European box. It's 3 AA batteries. Size is, I'll measure it over here for you. Size is 4 wide, 6.5 long, and thickness is close to 2 centimeters. Okay, I'm working in metric. Okay, so if you do not know metric, just get an app for your cell phone, convert it. Okay, I'm not an imperial person. Okay, metric is easier anyway. So the idea is that this goes into this gap, and you're going to have to modify this to by grinding out these sections for this to fit in. And then the PC board is going to go into this section at the back. Okay, I'll get there now. Okay, so once if you're planning on lighting, prepare that first. Then you can glue these two together. You can paint it first. It's easier to paint with a separate, and then you can glue these two parts together so they flush. Okay, and this section, which is I've screwed on now, can be glued on as well. So you'll have no seam over here, which is quite nice, and no seam over here. Okay, mine might have a seam in the photos. People might think, okay, well, it looks like a crappy model. That's because mine is not glued together. Okay, so this can be glued on, this can be glued on, with a screw can line it up quite nicely. Okay, this section here must not be glued on, else you won't get the wings in and out, unless you want to keep the wings in, but I prefer to have the option to remove them. Okay, so before I go to the wings, I'm going to just show you the rear section. This is it's not a modification, it's in the kit. You get the wire, 12 centimeter 1mm copper wire. You're going to need to drill small holes. I drilled 1.2mm holes into the gaps where they go. There is reference on the build document, but that is very accurate to the screen full-size version, which there is also a photograph on the build document. Then you get the little cap that covers the screw section. Close it up. Okay. Another modification which I did is, if you're going to display it standing, which is intended to, is there is a guide hole in the back of this bottom section. Okay, so before you put it into a stand, is put the pipe in and then put this in. Sorry, put this in and then put the pipe in and then the stand. Because the angle over here is quite strange. It might, if you make it quite large, it might work. Okay, also going to have a big gap on the bottom, unless you want one. It's up to you on what you intend to do with the kit. Okay, so now just to get to the wings. Okay, my wings aren't perfect, by no means. I've kept them here in one piece. Okay, they're both joined together. Okay, it's probably not fitting in the camera. As I explained in all the other videos, these are not glued on. These are engine sections. Okay, they're actually prepared with the lighting already in because I sealed the inside sections. Okay, so you see if I pull this out, there is a wire. Okay, before you glue anything together, if you're doing the lighting, make sure the lights work. So you do not want to strip everything apart again. And there's a wire sticking out. Okay, so what you get as well is you get these engine clips, which are separated because of easier to paint. It looks better. Okay, so each engine gets 2. Okay, these instructions on where they fit on the instruction manual. Okay, and then what I did as well, which I think is maybe a bit of a mistake, is I glue the wings on into position when it was in the model. And I think it might be better if you actually do it when it's in this position, where it's outside. Because it's easy to handle, you can pick it up, you can eyeball if it's straight or not. Because this piece needs to be center with both engines. Okay, so you can use it as a guide when you glue this lower front wing in. And the reason why I say do it when it's like this is because my one wing is slightly skew. Okay, and if I had it off out of the body, okay, I might have been able to see it easier by eyeballing it better and easier. Okay, so before you glue these in, make sure that they are straight, because mine also has an issue because I did not do that. With the guns, where these flashback suppressors actually touch each other, they overlap. So my one weapon isn't actually flush to the body or to the wing, it's slightly loose. So you actually have that gap. Okay, so what you can do is put these on for line up. Then you can see if these are actually lined up, because they should be parallel to one another. Okay. Okay, what else? I modified the front mechanism part because there were issues where it was touching on the inside and the wings weren't closing up properly. So the front one I modified, I lifted it up a 1.5 millimeter top and bottom, and then I angled it by 4 degrees inwards, and that seemed to work a lot better. Okay, this kit is actually it was never intended to actually display with closed wings, but I wanted to make the option there to choose what you want. So it's made to display open, like such. So you can see the detail, because I mean, why have the detail if you cannot see it? Okay, and you see mine it's not touching properly over here because I didn't line it up properly. So what you must do is, before you glue these inner plates in, is make sure that they flat lined up. Okay, you can maybe do your wings then before you actually even paint them. Make sure they're 100% straight. Then glue these in, but you need to make sure that they're 100% flat to the rest of the structure. Else you might have a gap, it won't close. So out of the whole kit, this is the only part that might cause headaches. I don't think too much. I mean, I'm not a professional model builder, but in my opinion, it doesn't look too bad. I'm displaying it open wing anyway. Okay, I've done some weathering on it with a weathering set. I've used a pen which I've dumped now, but anyway, it's a weathering pen, a black one. It's in the box there on both sides. Okay, and on the nose. Okay, you find this NATO black seems to rub off on the edges, which looks nice. It's supposed to be like that. Okay, and then the next thing I did was I took the stand, painted it black and red. Used the airbrush around the edges, made it look a bit worn. I used a wash on the writing. Okay, so I'll come back in the next video and I'll show you guys. I put basically these I'm going to have these parts I'm not going to take everything apart. I mean, this is pretty obvious how it goes together. I already explained that. So I'm going to show you how to put the wings into the body without the nose, because I might have to add the nose for stability, but it just adds length to the whole kit. Okay, and then that should be done on it then. Okay, so in the next video I'll show you guys how to put the wings in. Thanks, cheers.